Hi guys, and welcome back to the channel and back to my daily challenge mini series. Today's daily challenge is a general one, and that is to catch one muskie. Now, once you know the locations, muskie are one of the easier of the big fish to catch. So I want to show you some of my favorite spots so that you can find a location that works really good for you. All right, let's get into it. Location number one is typically my go-to spot, and it is going to be near the lighthouse at Van Horn. So I'm going to fast travel to Van Horn, ride through the town, just past the lighthouse on the left, and come right down to the bank. Now, you can actually fish pretty much anywhere along the bank of Van Horn, all the way up to Annisburg, and even all the way up to Brandywine, which I don't show in this video. Muskie are going to be all along that area, but this is just the location I typically go to because it's right there to fast travel. And I don't know, I found that spot one day and it's just been my muskie spot. So I just know muskie, that's the location I go to. So just come down to the bank. You know, you can use, pull out your fishing rod first and then use Eagle Eye to make sure that the muskie are in there. It's the only big fish that can spawn there. So if you see a big fish, it's going to be a muskie. You know, go ahead and throw that line out, pull the muskie in, daily done. It's as easy as that. All right, while I am luring this muskie in here, let me give you a few tips when it comes to fishing. And the first one is online, the bait doesn't really matter quite as much as story. You can pretty much use anything for any fish and they're going to end up hooking on. However, you do want to use a lure for the big fish. You want to use a lake lure, a river lure, or a swamp lure. And the reason for this is because the smaller fish can't hook on to these. And so if you're trying to specifically get a big fish, and the big fish are going to be anything from like the medium-sized fish, so like steelhead trout and sockeye salmon, to the big fish like muskie that we're catching now. If you're trying to catch a lot of fish, so the daily is to catch like 10 fish, then a special spinner is going to be really great because everything will attach onto that. So I think the special spinner says this is really great for the medium to large size fish, but really honestly anything will hook onto the special spinner. So definitely go with the lure here. It's just going to make it a lot quicker because you won't have those small fish attaching on. Another tip is sometimes fish will nibble first. So you really want to make sure you have a hard pull down on the line before you set the hook. Otherwise it will get away. And then when you're reeling these big fish in, if they are struggling, you want to stop reeling and just move the fishing pole side to side, kind of pulling against it, but you don't want to reel at all because that can break the line. And then when it's not struggling, you want to reel. And then if you're on controller, what you can do is use the joystick to pull the joystick back and then let it go, and then pull it back and let it go. And this is going to give kind of like a big tug forward, and it just helps to get these bigger fish in a little bit faster. Location number two is going to be O'Crea's Run. The easiest fast travel for this one is going to be Emerald Station, and then you'll just take a short ride north from there. Typically, I will just come right down to the banks as I hit the lake. Now, you can pretty much fish all around the lake here. This spot that I go to might look familiar if you're big on collecting, because this is where the duck eggs will spawn. As a matter of fact, they were actually here today. And yeah, you just come right down to the bank, do the same thing as before. So pull out your fishing pole, use Eagle Eye to make sure the muskie's there. You'll cast out, and then just follow those tips as far as how to hook and how to reel in the fish. Location number three is going to be Lake Owanjila, and the closest fast travel is going to be the Strawberry Fast Travel, and then you can just set a waypoint. This one's a little bit further out than the other two that we've done, but again, it's a really nice fishing spot. There's lots of muskie. I come right down to the banks when I come off the road there, but you can actually fish anywhere around Lake Owanjila and you will find the muskie. For this next location, you are going to travel to Wapiti, and you're going to go right down to the little body of water there, right near Calumet Ravine. I'm not sure if this has a name or not, but it's just north of Donner Falls, if you see that on the map there. This is an absolutely beautiful area. It's probably one of my favorite areas to be in when the sun rises. Of course, it's nighttime here. I do get the lovely surprise of a beautiful moose when I come down. There's also a legendary animal nearby, so there's lots of things in the area as well if you're spending time around there. But it's another really good muskie spot that you can go to. It's really close to a fast travel, so it's super convenient. But I just come right down to the water here. I do the same things as before. I always use eagle eye or just visually look out into the water to make sure I can see a muskie out there before I cast out. And that's kind of another tip as well, is that you can use eagle eye to make sure you're casting near the fish. You can also use eagle eye when you're reeling in to make sure that the fish hasn't been scared off or despawned and you're wasting your time because there isn't anything there. Sometimes I do have to pull the rod back in and then recast out wherever the fish has moved to. The final location I'm going to show you today is at Lake Isabella. This is probably the furthest away from a fast travel, but if you're someone who likes to spend a lot of time up in the snow, up in the cold area, since there's not a lot to do up there, and you just like any excuse that you can get up there, fast travel is going to be Coulter, and then you're going to ride down to Lake Isabella. I do kind of maneuver out into where there's a wider area to cast out in to find that muskie. But yeah, this is another really good spot. Again, if you're up in the area or you're just looking for something different or you just want an excuse to get up in the snow. It's, like I said, not as convenient as the other one. So I typically don't use this as my muskie spot, but it is an option available. All right, there you have it. Some really easy muskie locations for you to try if you've been looking for a new spot or if you've been struggling to find one at all. It'd be very easy to complete this daily challenge by using one of these locations. I hope some of the tips are helpful as well when it comes to fishing. I tried to keep it pretty simple. I didn't go into too much detail. But if you have any questions about fishing at all, leave us a comment, or if you have a really great muskie spot. If you found this video helpful, I'd appreciate it if you'd give it a like. As always, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.